Yeah. Welcome, fellow Kiwanians and guests. My name's Clark Goodman. This is actually my last full week as president. Next Wednesday, we get to hand the gavel over. So I'm not going to lie, I had a little butterflies here before I rang the bell. So I did pay for a brag buck, by the way, because our bocce tournament this past weekend was a huge success. The weather, the turnout, the refreshments, the competition, and thank y'all who supported it. We really appreciate it. I think it was a great day. I actually ended up winning the whole tournament with my partner, Bill Lester. So there's our photograph with the trophies. Yeah. So, hey, we brought it. Yeah, y'all did. We brought it. So our invocation today is going to be led by J.C. Taylor.
All right, Mr. President.
Thank you, JC.
Mr. President, on your last day.
That's one of my last ones.
Yes, sir. You brought us through. Good afternoon to all of you. I thought about faith while I was sitting there. Faith is the substance of things hoped for and the evidence of things unseen. Evidence of things unseen. A few days ago, weatherman said the wind was blowing. Well, I didn't see the wind, but when my head blew off my head, that was the evidence. And then I was playing golf last week with a lot of you out there playing at the tournament that Stephanie sold me a ticket to, and she wasn't there. But it was scorching hot, and Ken Briggs said the heat is coming down. I couldn't see the heat, but the evidence was my whole back was wet. That was the evidence. As I prepare for the invocation, I do not see God, but the evidence is throughout this room. All your good work and all you're doing for God's people. There's plenty of evidence that he's real. God, we thank you for this day. Thank you for allowing us to assemble here one more time. Thank you for our president who's finished up his term as the Kiwanis president and just brought us to new heights and blessed us for the food. And thank you that the food that was served, plenty of evidence that we're still eating. Thank you for all, amen.
Amen. Thank you. Thank you, JC. Our song leader today is going to be Gary Durick.
I'd like to thank Bart Wilner for his great programs he's gotten for this month, but it did get me in a bind. I have to follow David Wiley, who led us last week. And also Bart has gotten Nicole Kramer here. She's U.S. Women's Cycling Olympic champion, and she's our speaker today. So I wanted to get an appropriate song for her. Frankly, all I could think about was a bicycle built for two. But Don, I'm not picking on you, but I was afraid y'all think I was Don Chittister. So I came up with America the Beautiful. And while we're singing it, if you'll look at the screen, you'll see some pictures of Barbara and I riding across America, and you can see what it looks like from the seat of your bicycle seat. So we're going to sing America the Beautiful. Oh, beautiful is the first line. Here we go. Oh, beautiful for spacious skies, for amber waves of grain, for purple mountains, majesty above the fruited plain. America America, God shed his grace on thee, and crown thy good with brotherhood from sea to shining sea. Good job.
Thank you, Gary. Our Pledge of Allegiance is going to be led by Jackie Bledsoe today.
Please join me in the pledge to our flag. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. You all may be seated. We have one of our new members is going to introduce our guest today, Ryan LaFountain.
Right. Good afternoon, everyone. How y'all doing?
Good.
All right. For those of y'all who don't know me, my name is Ryan LaFountain. I am a new member. I was asked to introduce myself as part of the thing that. Can everyone hear me now? Yeah. I'm a new member. I'm not a stranger to Kiwanis, though. I joined Kiwanis because back when I was in high school and middle school, I was a member of Key Club and Builders Club, and then Circle K in college for a while, and then strayed from the fold for a little. The hat that I wear in in the daytime is I am the commissioner of the revenue for the city. So with no further ado, let's introduce our guests. We've got Barbara Dirk today, who is a guest of Gary Dirk. Please stand up. Yep. And then we have Lisa Bain and Quinn Morgan, who are both guests of Clark Goodman today. Dewey Rotenberry, who is a guest of Chuck Baker. Chris Stutzman, who is a guest of Ken Briggs. Patricia Harris, who is a guest of JC Taylor. And then finally, Gail Quinn, who is a guest of Mike Quinn. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Good job. Thank you. Well, I've been trying to do this for 3 weeks now. So want to invite Preston Tyler up to receive his permanent member badge. Preston's done everything to acquire this. So way to go, Preston.
There you go. You had that.
You want to say something?
Glad to be a part, eh?
Let's give Preston a round of applause. Good job. I'd like to invite Ben Spiker to come up to recognition of our KPAD sponsors.
Hello, folks. Am I supposed to read it? No.
No.
Okay. This year's KPAD, this year being 2022 KPAD, was a very successful event. I think we had record sales of somewhere in the neighborhood of 65,000 and some change. And included in that is the sponsorship that we are so fortunate to have from Haley Toyota and from ServPro. So Brett, if you would come up, please. From Haley. I'll come around. That thing's stuck. We have to come over here so we can get our picture taken. Haley Toyota has sponsored us this year with a $5,000 gift. And without Haley, we wouldn't have hit our targets. It was a wonderful thing. Chuck couldn't be here today. He was probably playing golf somewhere, I'm guessing.
I can't answer that question.
But not without incriminating yourself, I know. So there, thank you very
Thank you.
much. Appreciate it.
I will not answer where Chuck is at. So let's be clear. You did not hear it from me. You heard it from him. Thank you for your support at our company and throughout the years. Mr. Baker loves to be part of your program and part of this club. But he would be mad at me if I didn't mention our Cattle Barons Ball coming up October the 1st. It has been sold out. We have over 570 folks coming to the barn to raise money for the American Cancer Society. We should approach $600,000 that night. So it's going to be a grand event. So we have some opportunities on the website to buy some lanterns of hope. So please take a look and see if you can support our cause also. So, but thank you for everything you do.
Thank you. Cattle Barons Ball is a lot of fun if you haven't done it. Gwen, if you would come forward, please. Give me that other one. Thanks to Quinn and our president, Clark Goodman. ServPro has served us as a $5,000 sponsor for KPAD. Quinn, your company's support of our Kiwanis Club has just been phenomenal. Ms. Bain is back there. Did I see her? Lisa, are you there? She's there. You support the Salem Kiwanis Club as well. And we so very much appreciate it. If you would accept this, thank you for your sponsorship of our club.
Thank you. Appreciate it. Well, thank you. And I guess 24 years ago when I started up with ServPro, we take care of people. And I found the best way to spend money and market and take care of other people that take care of people that take care of people. Did that make sense? And that's you guys. So thank you for what you do, because if you weren't out here doing this, where would the money go? It wouldn't be any good. So glad to see it's helping the world. Thank you.
Thank you very much. ServPro's model is to make it like it never happened, but that's not the case with this. It always happens. Put that thing back. You ready?
Yep. Thank you, man. All right, guys. I wrote a little review of this year's highlights, and I'd like to read that to you guys. First of all, I want to say that I'm just a simple guy. And I was a little intimidated, coming behind Sherry Hartman and Mike McAvoy. I mean, those are some awesome people right there. So that was a little much for me, but I tell you, they have been more supportive and wonderful. My employer has given me, Quinn thank you, because he has allowed me to have the extra time and schedule to devote to this. So that was super awesome for him to do that. So in saying that, let me get started here. So spread Kiwanis like confetti was this past year's theme. I believe you guys did just that. We welcomed 10 new members into our Kiwanis family this year. And with all said and done, we ended up with a net increase of 5. Thank you. We got a brand new and vivid website. And we did something that we've never done before. We did TV advertising to increase brand awareness with WDBJ7. We had a fun fundraiser to pay for that advertising, and the Kiwanis Crabs showed up all over Roanoke and on social media and raised about $3,000, which was our fundraising goal. We sunsetted those crabs with a summer low country boil, and we all had a great night that night. It was so gratifying to see our club transition back from being in person again, watching our Zoom numbers of attendance switch back to filling Charter Hall. I also had the pleasure of finishing our past president, Don Witt's 5-year plan, and helping to shape the next 5 years is going to be so rewarding. I will say that watching Ben Spiker and his K-Pad team make the most profitable K-Pad this club has ever had was a huge highlight for me this past year. We brought bocce ball back this year and had one of the best tournaments we ever had, thanks to Valley AFC Soccer Association and our bartenders who made the best Bloody Marys in Roanoke. John says I'm the master of starting the meetings on time and ending on time, so I guess I have about 20 more seconds to wrap this up. By the way, I couldn't have done this without John Montgomery. On a more personal note, making new and lasting friendships with officers and board members have been one of the best parts. With closing, I would like to say thank you to this club for this wonderful opportunity. Remember, you guys powered the boat with your efforts and ideas. I just held the rudder to keep us moving forward. Now, I look forward to skiing behind the boat and having fun with the cool kids again. Thanks for your support. Thank you. Y'all gonna make me blush. So we do have some announcements today. I was going to invite Don Chichester to come up.
I'll have more to say about this when the event comes, but for those of you who want it on your calendar, the Adult Care Center Thanksgiving luncheon will be on Friday, November the 18th. We always help them distribute the food. And so if you want to help, put it on your calendar, and in a couple of weeks, we'll start sending out sign-up sheets. Thank you.
I think Ben has an announcement.
Thank you, Clark. Next week, there will not be a regular Wednesday meeting. We'll be meeting out at Carvin's Cove for a cookout to do the installation. We have about 25 or 26 folks signed up. So John will be sending out an email just to remind you. Please join us if you can. It's a beautiful setting. The idea behind having a cookout at Carvin's Cove is to do something very casual and very social and try to keep it as informal as we possibly can. At the same time, managing costs. We don't want to do a dinner that's going to cost us another 50 or 60 bucks. So it would be great to have you all there. I'm really looking forward to it. Point 2, committee signups. We're still looking for some committee assignments and some committee signups. John will be sending out an email in the coming days or two to remind you all to sign up for committee. And I'll say this: if you don't get signed up, you'll get assigned. So there is a myriad of things that we do, and just an example is that. Thanks to our sponsors and to the sales effort and to the effort of Pancake Day, the grants committee will meet by Zoom, I think on the 29th or the 28th, the 29th, and we'll have something like $45,000, something in the neighborhood of $45,000 to divvy up among 27 grant applications this year. So it's just an example of an area where you can find meaning and find participation and work together as we accomplish the goals of this club. Was there anything else I'm supposed to announce?
There is a sign-up sheet for next week on the table.
There is a sign-up sheet next week on the table. Have I forgotten anything?
Yeah.
Clark, do I have everything?
I think you got it all.
All right. You won't see me again. Thanks.
Hi, Michael Brachte here. I want you to know that when my wife was shopping for a husband decades ago, I learned that she had 3 criteria. One was must cook. Well, it turns out cooking remains a hobby of mine today. I love bringing a diverse set of ingredients together to produce a gourmet meal. Well, I enjoy doing that with people too. Bringing diverse talents together to accomplish something at the next level. And this is exactly what your speaker arrangers did this past year with our weekly programs. Thanks to them, those weekly programs reached a new level. So we're going to recognize those speaker arrangers right now. When I call your name, come to the podium, stand in front of the podium, and face the audience. Bart Wilner. Bill Bespich. Brooke Tolley. David Bowers can't be with us today. David Perry, if you're on Zoom. Gene Bollendorf, if you're on Zoom. Kevin Berry, same thing. Leanne Lincoln Hooker, you are on Zoom. And Sam Darby. I want you all to give them a big round of applause. Now, I have a token of appreciation for each of you. I will show the audience what the token looks like. This is an official CIA poster bought in Langley, Virginia at the CIA headquarters. Job of speaker arrangers is Bill Bespich.
I'll write that down too.
Here's a little extra token that I want you to show the audience. Yes.
Hey, nice.
Since you're leaving city council, you need to remember where things are. So I have no doubt that incoming Vice President Gene Bollendorf, who's going to take over the programs, will take it up yet another notch. So I just told you we had a competition for bringing in guests. Please sit down, speaker arrangers. You too, Bill.
Right, Mike.
I just told you we had a competition for bringing in guests. Milton's going to tell you about a new competition. Thank you.
Thank you, Mike. First of all, I would just like to make one big announcement that I'm glad to see JC in the building today for no real reason at all. I just wanted to call your name out. All right, so I'm a competitive guy. I lost on Saturday, JC, at the bocce ball because I knew nothing what I was doing. But there's a new competition going on that I'm gonna beat you in at least, and Ken Briggs because he was talking trash at the table. There's a new competition that's going to be going on to make sure we bring in new members. Every month, I'm gonna put my shades on. Well, every week I'm gonna put my shades on. But every month we're gonna announce the winner of who brings in the most guests. Now, don't let the new guy beat you. Tell y'all right now, I got the matching shades, the blue shirt, and the Colonel Hawk. Anybody went to Fleming in this room? That's not your fault. Thank you, Stephanie. You did a great job. Anybody went to PH in this room? That's your fault. But just know, there's gonna be a lot of trash talking, a lot of goodwill. the aim is to just bring some good camaraderie, to bring in some more people. I believe we have a lot of great people in the Roanoke Valley that we can bring into this club. Like I told you last week, I felt like I've been embraced wholly by this club. And y'all let me do what I do. And I believe we're going to be able to do some great things, and we bring more people to bring better situations to everybody's life. So don't let me outdo you. And I'm talking to you too, Sherry. Got you. Thank you.
Do we have any other announcements today?
Yeah, thank you. I'm Andy Stone. On your tables today is a brochure about the Historical Society of West Virginia is going to have a talk on October 12th at Hotel Roanoke dinner. The Historical Society is right across the railroad tracks in the old NW passenger station. And it's some interesting exhibits. And we're going to have Sumter Pretty talking about American antiques and fine art. So if you have things that come down in your family, you may have some interest in, but I hope you will all take a look at it and maybe come and join us. We'd love to have you. Thank you.
So we've got about 4 minutes here for brag bucks. So I welcome any and all brags. Don, look, Don's running me over.
Hi, I'm Don Wood, and I want to do a brag on a few people that have basically worked this club for the last, I don't know how many years, but they have set up all this stuff, set up the tables, and then they tear them down. So they come in early, they leave late, but they're always dedicated to do that. And I'd like to recognize Joe Limmer, John Hewart, Andy Stone, and Jim Randalls. Is Jim here? And Zoom. Okay. Thank you all for the work that you do in showing up every day, every week. Thank you.
Judy Clark here. I'm the one you hear tinkling over here every week. I want to tell you that you've got a really special opportunity a week from Sunday. How many of you guys love really, really, really good singing? Well, you've got an opportunity to hear the national winner, the National Federation of Music Clubs. This is a huge competition, and she's coming to Roanoke October 2nd. She'll be at Grandin Court Baptist Church, 2:30 in the afternoon. This is probably the last time you'd ever get to hear her for free. These people go on to major careers. She's got a really nice program. I think it'll be fun for everybody. One part of the program is especially interesting. She has a whole section of music by Brazilian composers. We don't get to hear those every day. But if you'd like to come, it's free. Come and bring your family. 2:30, October 2nd, Grandin Court Baptist. Thank you.
I'm J.C. Taylor. I want to do a brag today on the gentleman that came up here with the sunglasses on. Where'd he go? Oh, he gonna miss this. Anyway, I want to say he taught me how to throw away $75. Last week, I couldn't make the bocce ball tournament, so I was looking for somebody that could take my place and be a winner. He stepped up to the plate and said he was going out there and he was going to bring back the gold. So I paid for both persons. Then I just found out that he was near the bottom of the list. So I learned a valuable lesson. Next time, play for yourself.
I'm John Montgomery, secretary of the club, and it's been my honor to sit next to President Clark this past 12 months. I've completed 8 years now as secretary, and I can tell you that working with the presidents is a wonderful experience, sitting right next to them and through thick and thin. And President Clark's done a particularly good job, I think, getting us back on track. The fact that there's 55, how many people in the room today, Amy? 58 people in the room. We're practically back to attendance where we were pre-COVID, which is pretty outstanding. We still offer Zoom and we have 15 people on there today. It's a nice crowd overall. Next week, when we install President-elect Ben and the new officers and directors, we'll also be honoring President Clark and ServPro. It's so wonderful to have ServPro here today. So if you haven't signed up yet, please, I just want to reinforce Ben's comment. There is a sheet on your table. There'll be an email about it. We want to have a good crowd next Wednesday to recognize the achievements of this past year and get next year's start off at the right foot. Thanks very much.
Today's program, well, I'm going to let Bart Wilner come up and introduce the program.
Before I introduce the program, let's give one more round of applause to our president here. Great job. It's my pleasure to introduce Virginia's Blue Ridge newest superstar, Nicola Cranmer, right here. Nicola is the founder and general manager of Virginia's Blue Ridge 2024 Pro Cycling Team. Nicola was born and raised in Salisbury, England, and in 1986, she moved to California and then eventually moved to Idaho. Nicola's experience as a professional mountain biker in the late 1980s was pivotal to her founding a women's professional cycling team in 2004. Earlier this year, Nicola moved from Idaho to Roanoke, Virginia, and she created Virginia's Blue Ridge 2024. That's America's premier women's cycling team, empowering women and young girls to develop and thrive as world leaders, championing diversity, equity, inclusion, and belonging, not only in the sport of cycling, but in occupations, cultures, and all aspects of their lives. The professional and junior athletes strive to win cycling races throughout the United States and around the world, with the ultimate goal of competing in the Olympics. The road to the 2024 Olympics, which are in Paris, France, runs through Virginia's Blue Ridge because of Nicola Cranmer. Please join me in a warm Kiwanian welcome.
Well, thank you for the glowing introduction. It sounds like I have a pretty cool job. I'm Nicola Cranmer, and thank you everybody for welcoming me. It's been an amazing experience truly since I've been in Virginia, which has been since February, actually March. But I already feel very at home here. So a lot of you may have seen in the news, on TV or in the newspapers about this cycling team and these cyclists and all this cycling things happening here. Well, before I came, there was already an incredible infrastructure that was already in place. And, you know, you're known as the East Coast capital of mountain biking, for example. And so taking it back to almost 20 years ago, actually 18 years ago, I was in California and I had a passion for cycling. I was working in real estate in San Francisco Bay Area, and I was on a co-ed cycling team. And how many of you ride bikes here? Most of you, some of you. So the team started off as a local affair, just a passion project, something to do on the weekends. And, you know, I was racing on this co-ed team and the women were doing really, really well and weren't getting any support. So I decided to start my own team. And I didn't know what this meant, but the words left my mouth and I thought, oh my gosh, I better figure this out quickly. So it was a very organic process. And one of the first athletes that I met, she was a beginning cyclist and her name was Shelley Olds. And she was a graduate of Roanoke College. I'd never heard of Roanoke. And she was a soccer player, but she was going to try cycling. And so Shelley really was the impetus for the team to progress very quickly from a regional hobby team to a professional team. And it's a very long story, and it's, you know, a story that spans 18 years. But I quickly came to this point where my hobby was taking over my life, and the athletes that I was supporting were growing so quickly and doing so well that I had to make this decision of, am I going to turn this cycling thing into my job? And the answer was yes. I mean, at the time, it wasn't necessarily the best financial decision. I was working in real estate in the Bay Area. But it was, you know, I was so passionate about it. And every step I took, the process was very easy. We found our first title sponsor really quickly. And that was actually a gentleman I had met a long time ago in England. He had a chemical engineering company in Düsseldorf, Germany, and he became our first title sponsor of the team. So fast forward, we are not only a professional cycling team, but we have junior athletes as well. And a junior athlete is, our youngest has been 10 years old through 18 years old. So but also with the junior athletes, my goal with them, and a lot of the girls, they come to me through social media and say, hey, I want to be a part of what you're doing. My goal isn't to turn them into professional cyclists, but it's to just, you know, we have these built-in mentors on the team, these amazing women who are very accomplished on the world stage. They've won Olympic medals, world championships, and these young girls have these mentors. And so they become a part of our program. And I don't know, some of you know this, perhaps, that there are a lot of colleges in the US that actually offer scholarships for cycling. So one of our goals is to connect these young girls to an education through cycling. And, you know, being a professional cyclist is really tough. So my goal isn't to encourage them to do that necessarily, but if we can connect them with education, that's a win for me. So how did I end up in Roanoke? Well, so Sam Worthington, a lot of you know, he's the president of the Roanoke Times. He and I knew each other from the Bay Area. Sam is a very passionate cyclist as well. And he reached out to me just about a year ago and said, hey, I've got a new job. I'm in Roanoke. And here comes the name Roanoke again. And I remember it from when Shelley used to tell me she went to college here. And he said, you know, you should meet this amazing group of people. And it's the Virginia's Blue Ridge organization. And I'd love for you just to connect with them. And I think that you can accomplish a lot working together and just bringing recognition to this incredible area and just talking about the you know, amazing natural assets that you have here for cycling and outdoor activity. So I met with the folks at Virginia's Blue Ridge, and none of them rode bikes. And I thought, oh, this might be awkward. but you know, we quickly just recognized that we have the same goals, and you know, it's a very natural fit to us to be promoting a region and a destination. So that's how that happened. And then one of the contingencies on the deal, the relationship, was that I moved here. I moved the team headquarters here. So I'd never been here. So I flew out last December. I'd already agreed to move here, and fortunately, I loved it. This is one of the most special places. It really is. And people always say, oh, do you just say that because the region is our title sponsor? And the answer is no. I mean, it's absolutely spectacular. It's, you know, a lot of people I meet are from here, and just the mountain ranges, the roads, the trails, everything is just perfect to really have our athletes training here and becoming the best cyclists they can be. So thank you so much for everyone's welcome. I mean, everywhere I go, people just come up to me, and people I don't know, and say, we're so glad you moved here. And I've never felt so supported in the community, and I've been doing this a very long time. So thank you. I'm going to show you a little quick video of some of the things we've been up to. So if you look this way. So our so our athletes, they race around the country and around the world, and Virginia's Blue Ridge is our title sponsor. Basically, that means that entity gave us the most funding for our program. So they get title sponsorship. It's like NASCAR or some other sponsorships that you might see out there. So our athletes which are also from all over the world, they race with Virginia's Blue Ridge on their jerseys. So wherever we race, the commentators are always calling the team name. So it's been pretty amazing experience when we're out in other states and people say, what is Virginia's Blue Ridge? Where is Virginia's Blue Ridge? So basically we're cycling billboards for this region. But it's been a really great experience because we also come across a lot of people that have been here and they want to just strike up conversations. So it's been an awesome community builder for us. One of the other things too that I feel very passionate about, and in this community especially, it's a smaller community, and you know, I see familiar faces already, and I haven't been here very long, is hopefully our team has come to this area and has an economic impact, a positive economic impact. And already just in this really short period of time, the area has hosted the Cycling National Championships, which has been incredible. And also next year, it's slated to hold another national championships and possibly two, one on the road and one on mountain bikes. Also, the news that was released recently was Roanoke College started a cycling team. And Shelley Olds, who you remember is one of the first athletes on my team, she actually just moved back here last week and is the head coach for the cycling team. So that's really come full circle. So we're hoping to continue to build community here. We just recruited our first two Roanoke junior athletes. They're both in high school. And so they now are part of our program. So, Anyway, I want to open this up to questions because I know everywhere I go, people have questions about what we do. And so please feel free. Oh. Yeah, so the team, how big is the team is the question. So the team, we have 29 junior athletes. We have 8 professional athletes. So our athletes, unlike a football team or a baseball team, they don't all live in the same region. So they live all over the country. We have a couple in different countries as well. And the junior athletes are all in high school and a couple in middle school. So they're at home with their parents. And then we bring them together a couple of times a year for training camps. And we had 2 training camps earlier this spring in Camp Bethel, which was amazing. It was a perfect environment for the kids. So that's how we manage that. And we have Zoom sessions, of course, a lot every month with them. That's a really good question. Are there requirements for joining the team? You know, they used to be performance-based. So are they winning races? Are they doing, you know, well in school? And that changed a little bit during COVID and post-COVID. And it's really hard to turn away a young girl that wants to be a part of what we're doing. I mean, as long as they can ride a bike and as long as they're doing well in school, we believe in including them. So our junior program for next year is looking to be very, very big. And, you know, since these girls were not in school during COVID and they weren't able to compete, there's an even greater need to support the youth. You know, they just want to belong and be a part of something. So we can't say no. Thank you. Thanks for the question. So the question is, do we have the bandwidth for a Paralympic branch? Well, the answer is yes. We're actually the first professional team to include a para-Olympian, a para-athletes. So since the team's inception, we've had at least 1 or 2 para-athletes in the program. And we currently have one looking to recruit a second one for next year. Yes. Well, I like to make my life really difficult for myself. We're involved in all of them. Yeah. Oh, what type of cycling are we involved in? Whether it was cyclocross, road, track, which is the velodrome, or mountain biking, we do it all. Yeah, what is an overview of a professional cyclist training? Well, first of all, it depends what discipline they're going for. And we're really good at long-term goals and then working backwards. So because we have Olympic focus, for example, the next Olympics is in Paris in 2024. We'll take our athletes, look at that goal and work backwards. So we'll strategically place them in events that they can succeed in along the way. And then you bring it back further. And, you know, a typical day in the life of a professional cyclist can be anywhere from an 1.5-hour ride to a 4-hour ride, maybe some weight training. Weight training typically used to happen in the winter, but now a lot of athletes are doing that year round. So hope that answers the question. Yeah. Mhm. Yeah, so yes, it's well, first of all, it's women's sport. So we do have the typical struggles that most other women's sports have. Just, you know, typically the men's teams get more supported, and it really goes back to the return on investment meaning media impressions. And so as long as you know, we keep pushing for more women's sport on television, that helps. And it's starting to happen, actually. There's a great momentum at the moment, particularly with women's soccer, and in England, women's cricket. You know, 5 years ago, you wouldn't see women's cricket on television, but now it's on television. So that helps. So it's really sponsorship driven. And basically, you have a logo placement on a jersey. Again, like NASCAR, you know, the bigger the money, the bigger the stickers. So also we're a 501c3 nonprofit. We have been since the team's inception. So that's another way where we generate funds for the team. No, I am the coach of many Olympic medalists. Yes. Yeah. There are, the gentleman said his 11-year-old is racing in the state, and there's a really amazing program, which is a national interscholastic program called NICA. And this is a high school mountain bike program. So as part of the week, you know, where some might do basketball, some might do football, they actually have mountain biking as part of a high school program now. So I think there's somewhere in the region of 30,000 high school kids that are actually sort of new cyclists in high school. So it's going to be amazing to see in the next few years what happens there. But, you know, one of the things that we see with our young athletes, again, it's not just about being a cyclist. It's just about being a well-rounded person. And I think being a part of a cycling program where you learn time planning, discipline, healthy habits, you know, goal setting, it really helps the young kids in the workplace. I mean, most of them won't go on to become professional cyclists. So. Yes. Does our team train on the Blue Ridge Parkway? Absolutely. It's amazing. And yes, there's nothing flat up there. It's all rolling. So you know, you get beautiful views either side of it. I mean, it's absolutely spectacular. One of our ultra athletes, Amanda Coca, who she'll be back in Roanoke next week, I think. She's actually going to try and break the record from one end to the other on a bicycle, which is currently held by a gentleman, but I think she can do it. Yeah, there you go. I actually don't know the record, but this is a woman who she rode 237 miles a day for 400 straight days. Yeah. When I told Lance Armstrong that, he said, I've never ridden 237 miles once in my life in one go. She did it every day. It's almost unfathomable, but she did it every day for 400 straight days. She actually didn't go anywhere. She did it all in a park, an 8-mile loop. Yeah. Yeah. We'll have to have her in. Yes. Type of expense? The question is, what type of expense is involved in cycling or in the running of a professional team? Well, we do pay salaries. Travel is a massive expense, especially these days because we fly everywhere. So the athletes fly in from wherever they live, you know, whether it's to here for a training camp, lodging, food, clothing. A lot of our product is sponsored. So we represent specific brands like our bike brands, tire brands. So we get, you know, a lot of goods in exchange for us wearing them and us using them. Yes. Yeah.
I know the Olympics, sport by sport is a little different, but can a professional cyclists compete in the Olympics under cycling?
Yes, it's not like NCAA rules and things like that. Yeah. Professional athletes, professional cyclists can compete in the Olympics. That's it. Thank you.
I had a question. So I know you've been all over the world and seen some great, I know you've eaten some great food out there. So do you have a favorite restaurant here in Roanoke?
Ooh. Ooh, put me on the spot. Favorite restaurant in Roanoke? Well, I do love Bloom.
Okay. That's down in the Wasena area,
Yeah.
right? Okay,
Yeah.
awesome.
Yeah,
Well, thank you. Thank you. This. What a great program today. Thank you, Bart, for bringing Nicola here. We do have a speaker honorarium, and it's my pleasure to present this to you, Nicola, for Roanoke Valley Development Co-ed Mountain Biking Team for youth ages 9 to 18. So thank you very much. Absolutely. So next week is installation of officers. It's going to be Wednesday evening at Carbons Cove. Hope to see you all there. Please sign up. Please bring your family. That's actually a really fun event. And if you haven't experienced that as a Kiwanian, I highly recommend it. It's a great evening. So with that, I will say that we are adjourned. And again, it's been my pleasure to be your president this past year. So thanks again.